What's good, everyone? You're listening to WKNC 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh. We are a student-run nonprofit radio station based out of North Carolina State University. I'm Plover, and this is Off the Record. Here with me today is Lowell from Tongues of Fire. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing great, thanks. How's your day been going?
It's been good. Just been working on a local show we got tonight.
Where's that at?
It's in Asheville. We're playing with Pitches of Vernon.
Nice. Who exactly are you? What exactly is Tongues of Fire? And where are you from? You mentioned Asheville. Is that
Yeah. I'm Lowell. I'm in Tongues of Fire. We're like I guess a post-punk band. That's what you want to call us. We're out of Asheville. We've been around for like a while, since like 2016.
that is a while?
Yeah. I know, I wrote an album over pandemic like a ton of people, and we've just been trying to get out and play. That's the big thing. Just since we couldn't play for so long.
For sure. So how exactly did you kind of start making music and getting into, I guess, like the foundations for Tongues of Fire?
I know I always like played music, but it was actually kind of through Pitches of Vernon that I realized I wanted to be part of like the DIY scene and like tour. Because I didn't know too much about it. I came from like a small town, and there's, I don't know, like classic rock cover bands and stuff. And they'd play the bar and grill, and it wasn't anything that interested me too much. And then I went to college and started going to house parties. And in like 2016, 2017, Pitches of Vernon was doing a lot of stuff around town and doing things like touring down the South by Southwest and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, like you can do that? I didn't even know.
It's crazy. Who are Pitches of Vernon exactly? I don't know if I know that group.
They're a Midwest emo band. They're pretty cool. I know, so they did a lot of stuff around, 2016, 2017, 2018. And then their drummer actually joined Prince Daddy and the Hyena, which is like
Well,
a pop
yeah.
punk band, yeah. And I know the guitarist Paige is in Save Face now. So they went to be on like a part of some really cool projects, and they kind of do Pitches of Vernon like when the stars align and like everything works out.
Sure, that's awesome. Yeah, I love the cross-pollination between all the different groups. Um, what instruments do you play exactly, or in your band, I guess?
I play guitar and sing.
Nice. And where exactly did the name Tongues of Fire come from? I know is it like a biblical reference?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it sounded cool. There's no real like meaning behind the name or anything. I heard it in the Bible and thought it sounded cool. And our band has nothing to do with the Bible at all.
So,
Like, yeah.
so this isn't a Christian rock project.
No,
Okay.
unfortunately, we don't switch foot.
All right. So yeah, you mentioned you're a post-punk band. Now I know you on Bandcamp you have a lot of other tags and kind of there's a lot of labels that I guess you could throw out to that kind of area of music. So how exactly would you, I guess, describe like the sort of sound that you're putting out there?
It's interesting, like it's a good thing, I think, to find a genre that fits your music so people know what it sounds like. But there's just a lot of the genres we fall into. There's just like so many different facets to them, which I love. It's just yeah, it's kind of hard to work with sometimes. Like post punk, like there's bands like Idols and stuff, and then there's also The Cure, or whatever. And then even like we're going into post hardcore maybe, and there's like Fugazi and The Fall of Troy, and then there's just like other like kind of just basically metalcore bands they call themselves post hardcore.
There's definitely a
It's
wide.
just like
What was that?
it's just like emo too. There's like different waves of emo. But I guess we'd be like somewhere between post-punk, post-hardcore, and garage rock.
Okay. Very like you mentioned the DIY scene kind of leaning into like
Mhm.
a more like lo-fi kind of sound.
Yeah, I mean, I think the beauty of DIY is that you can do it yourself. So sometimes you record it yourself. And there's not as much of a emphasis on having a polished sound that's perfect.
Mhm.
Like I know Pitches of Vernon, they did their first EP when they were in high school, like on in their drummer's basement, you know, and that like got them their like first like bit of traction.
Love to hear that. Yeah, I actually I interviewed Secret Shame last week. Of course,
Yeah, yeah,
another yeah, Asheville post-punk scene. They kind of meant like we kind of talked a bit about the Asheville local scene. They mentioned there were a lot of punk bands, but like not a lot of post-punk bands. Do you have any
yeah.
insight on that kind of lane?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Secret Shame is like one of the only other post-punk bands in Asheville, and they're on just like another side of the post-punk spectrum too. But yeah, there's lots of I don't know, like kind of uh like Bad Religion type punk bands in
Mhm.
Asheville, which I don't know. It's not really our scene or anything we resonate with too much. So we have to get creative and just kind of play with different kinds of bands.
Yeah, why do you think there's so many more of like Bad Religion-esque bands in Asheville than kind of your sound?
I think Asheville has become a lot of a very touristy town. So there's I don't know, there's not too many people that like it's not too I'd say profitable to be in Asheville and not be in like cover bands and like Grateful Dead jam bands and stuff. So you have to do it because you really like it. And then there's just like yeah, lots of like older people in Asheville. So there's not as many like I don't know young people that are like trying to do like serious bands that are like out of Asheville.
Well, older people do love their punk music. That's very true.
Yeah,
Um,
like Wednesdays from Asheville too.
yes, yes. Well, we love Wednesday here at WKNC. Um, so you mentioned you recorded an album over the pandemic. Are you referring to Burn My Body Clean here? Is that
Yeah, yeah.
nice, nice? Yeah, can you tell us a bit more about like kind of what that record was? Was it like a born of the pandemic?
Kind of. It started out with my mom actually dying of cancer and going through like a big like isolation kind of period. And I started writing songs about that. And I was like, oh wow, these songs are a lot more relatable now too, just because everybody's being isolated right now. So I was like isolating like because of myself, and then just like the whole world ended up being isolated because of outside forces.
Yeah, that's a very sad but very weird coincidence there.
I know, right?
Um, uh, does that kind of represent like a change, like how I guess as Tongues of Fire kind of evolved into that? Is it sort of a continuation of your original kind of very rootsy sound, or is it anything different?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a bit of a metamorphosis in a few different ways. Because I know when I started the band in like 2016, I was like, oh, we want to be a garage rock band. And then just like looking into the scene and like the people around it and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to be associated with these people for the most part, or like work with that. So I was working on changing the sound. That's also when the whole like Burger Records thing came out. That there was just like a ton of people that were like abusing like underage girls and stuff like that, and just like a whole like cover up culture. And I was very glad that like you know I distanced myself from all that, and just like just music evolves, and you want to become a better band over time, hopefully.
Mhm. Yeah, how did you pick your singles, especially Room was one of your more prominent tracks. How did that like kind of move to the forefront of your record?
I think Room's kind of like uh really representative of the whole idea of how the album just became more relatable, because I just kind of figured out how to take what I was feeling, and then like other people were feeling that, and then we also took a video of like our first show when like the CDC guidelines were lifted, and it was like safe to play venue shows again and stuff. So we made a music video just like people going off to our music live, and just kind of just like put that together because I thought it would just resonate with people and work.
Yeah, that definitely must have been cathartic for sure after all that time locked in.
Absolutely. Yeah, music's like super cathartic in a ton of ways for me.
Hmm. Um, you kind of tying into sort of the pandemic era performances. You have a release out on Bandcamp called "Live from a Parking Lot," which I understand was recorded during the pandemic and sort of I guess, a more socially distanced performance.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Can you tell us kind of about that performance?
Just talking about how, music is cathartic for me and the people I play with. We're just like, we really want to play music, and it wasn't safe to play music at that time in front of real people. So I just wanted to at least have some kind of content or something to put out. So we just played in a parking lot and got it recorded and just videoed really well. I just found like the best people I knew. I was like, let's make something that's cool and like has quality and like debut a new song. Like we've been working on a new song and just like blasted through a set.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds very like some of the more raw content you could possibly put out, which is really cool. Um, do you have a favorite show you played, either since the um pandemic has lifted a bit, or just kind of in general in your career?
I mean, the show for the Room music video was great. It was cool because yeah, we played an outdoor show like at our drummer's house, and that was like the first one we did like after like the CDC guidelines were like telling us it was good to just do stuff, and then they're like, okay, like no masks and you can gather as many people as you want indoors. I was like, okay. I mean, if the CDC says we can do it, let's do it. And like we had some really good bands on that show, and it was at like a really solid venue, and just people went crazy, and it was super fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. What venue was it exactly?
It was the Gray Eagle.
Sorry, yeah, I don't know if I know that one. That sounds really cool.
It's cool. It's like I think it's a 450 cap venue. I used to work there for a while too. I run sound.
Nice, nice. Uh, until recently, you were planning on playing at Ruby Deluxe. Is that a cool venue that you like?
I actually don't know too much about Ruby Deluxe.
Mhm.
I know I'm friends with this guy, Tom, who's in Core Deluxe in Zach,
Mhm.
Mexico. And we were planning to like meet up at the show. He said
Yeah,
some pretty cool things about Ruby Deluxe. I think it's like a queer club, which is cool too.
yeah,
It sounded like it would have been a really fun time.
yeah. It's like I really wish I could get in, but it's like only a 21 plus, of course, for all the shows. We're
Uh-huh.
very close to that.
Yeah. I hate when there's restrictions on who can come to shows. I think some of our best shows have been just kind of like all ages. We
Mhm.
played in San Antonio at a
Oh.
vegan cafe.
That's
It was
awesome.
also sober. So it was like the outside of a sober vegan cafe, and it was probably one of my favorite shows
Mhm.
because like a ton of kids just showed up, and it was just outside, no stage, like just like a really raw show, and I like crowd surfed off the roof, and just everybody was just super into it.
That's
I just
high.
love stuff like that where it's just like not about substances, it's not about like anything else but just music.
Yeah, because if the music's good, you should be able to appreciate that no matter what you're on. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Um.
sure. We're not a straight edge band though. Like I don't
Yeah.
care if
Yeah.
anybody does anything.
Of
I just
course.
don't like a culture where it's not about anything else.
Mhm. Yeah. So have you all like played like house shows and stuff? Kind of that kind of scene.
Yeah, plenty. We have a booking agent now, so it's started to kind of be a bit of a hybrid thing. But I don't think I ever want to stop playing house shows. I think the ideal situation, is we get like good venue shows with guarantees and stuff. We get taken care of, and if something drops, or there's like a gap or anything like that, like we will gladly do a house show. Just like that, I love the energy of just like small DIY house shows and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. How do y'all like record your music then? Is it like kind of like a home recording, like DIY thing like that, or do y'all have a local recording studio you go to?
We actually have a producer in Atlanta that we go to.
Nice.
I looked at records that I really loved and found a guy named Dan who just like has a garage studio down in Atlanta, and he did Burn My Body Clean and our latest singles that we've put out and stuff. It's just cool to work with somebody who really like understands the genre and can also pick up stuff that you can't, have that like impartial ear.
Yeah, for sure. Like, obviously, for recording DIY is a really cool part, a really big part
Mhm.
of that. But also, I guess like the mixing and mastering is such a big part. So that's interesting to like kind of mixing those two like I guess philosophies together.
Yeah, because it's our the album's not hi-fi, I don't think by any means, but it's dynamic and it hits really hard, and that's what I really wanted to shoot for. Like we still recorded it like live together in a room, so it has the qualities I like in lower fi recordings. We didn't like program drums or use triggers or anything like that, but we just like did it together to a click track, so we had it really tight and we're able to edit it how we wanted to, but we still had like a lot of the aspects that we still enjoyed about DIY recordings.
Nice. That's a really cool fusion. So do y'all have any like plans for upcoming music, or is it just mostly like pushing the record right now?
Yeah, so we did a split with Venus Twins, who are and Teen Mortgage, who are like two bands that we really enjoy that are in the area. And one of the songs for this split we plan to make into like a single with a music video and put that out. And we got a lot of new music. We're just trying to kind of just get to a little like uh point of just peace for a second so we can like work on the songs and get things together. I know
For
we got
sure.
we got a lot of shows coming up. Like we had that tour that we were supposed to come with y'all that got canceled.
Mhm.
But we have another tour right after that. We have a show in Atlanta, and then we're actually playing with Ceremony and Gel locally next month, November 7th. So we just got lots of stuff that we're
Oh
basically
yeah.
just trying to get through this month and get all this stuff out of the way, which is like it's not like we dread it, but it's a lot of work. So
Yeah,
we get
just
through that, and then we're probably going to work on new material.
just out here suffering from success, just too popular.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's a problem. So what's like the next show you have planned? And I guess like the second like tour you're on.
So tonight, yeah, we're playing Asheville,
Mhm.
and then we're popping down to. Let me check my shows. We're playing Charlotte. I know the 20th at Bart's Mart. Then we're going down up to Boone and playing Lily's, and then the 22nd we're playing Atlanta. And also the 14th we're opening for Thousand Band Fawny, who's like a pretty prominent rapper in Atlanta, which will be very interesting.
Nice. That's a good little fusion there. Like that.
Just kind of skipping around the southeast right now.
Hmm.
It's cool
Um,
because we've done like month long, like almost full U.S. tours, and just kind of just popping around throughout the state is a nice, just like low pressure way to just keep around, keep a presence up, and have fun.
yeah. Where southeast? Like where else? Where were you like touring around?
Were we?
Yeah, yeah. Like in like previous stories you mentioned.
I know we go to South by Southwest like every year, so we'd go down to Texas and then find some way to go back. Last March, we went down to Texas and then just like hit the Midwest pretty hard, and then went to like New York and went down from there too. We've
Nice.
never been to the West Coast though. We want to, but it's just such a long drive. You're really deep into it when you're in the West Coast.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be a dream. But I mean, it's really cool you hit the Midwest. You know, got to put the Midwest in Midwest emo.
I know.
Very important. Let's see, I was checking out your Bandcamp page, and I noticed you used to sell hot sauce at some point.
Yeah.
Uh, that looked really cool.
very on brand. I feel like
Oh
the,
yeah, yeah.
the name lends itself to it.
That's right. Yeah, very sort of DIY aesthetic creation there. Yeah, I I I love it when artists kind of do like not exactly the regular merch, but something to remember them by.
Yeah, you got to stand out. I mean, it's just like everything is so saturated right now with the internet because the DIY is a wonderful thing, but it also doesn't, I wouldn't say lowers the bar, but makes it accessible to everyone, so anybody can put a recording on the internet, you know, which creates some amazing stuff. It just makes it hard to get seen sometimes.
Yeah, this have you noticed like kind of like a I guess like a less coherent scene or like harder to describe like regional scenes? Is more like a I guess homogeneity there?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the genre. I feel like, like I feel like probably rap is more like terminally online than like hardcore punk or something like that, and it's like become more about uh like niche genres and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
also
I,
being
I feel like there's still like a regional sound for music even in the digital age.
for sure, and I noticed I interviewed someone who talked about like sort of the like I guess more electronic side of DIY, and that was really cool.
Mhm.
Like, because a lot of those artists just didn't have local scenes at all, and like that kind of the internet became their local scene in a way, which was really nice to
Yeah,
see.
I know we've gotten to the point actually where more people listen to us in different cities than our own, which is interesting. I guess this is kind of like the process of coming from a local band to a more regional band. Because like we still have plenty of people listen to us in Asheville, but like our Spotify like similar artists like went from other local bands to like bands throughout the country that sound like us, which is cool. I feel like it's an interesting change to go through.
Nice. Yeah, it's like more like representative of like who you are rather than like the person down the road. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, because like I love making friends and like the personal connections I make on the road and everything. But I don't want it to just be about personal connections. I wouldn't want somebody to only listen to my music because we're friends.
Mhm.
For people listening to my music because it sounds like something that they like and they don't know me at all, it's just really, really just amazing to think about.
Definitely. Let's see. So of course there's a lot of Asheville talk. I'm definitely planning on visiting to Asheville pretty soon. What are some good like things to do to check out? Because I understand a lot of people say that Asheville's kind of a very touristy or more visiting city now.
Yeah, definitely. There's some awesome stuff to do. I'd recommend West Asheville. Like
Mhm.
the area around the Double Crown has a lot of just lots of like cool like local stuff going on. I really like Battle Cat Coffee. There's lots of good food on that side of town. Um, if you want to go hiking, lots of stuff there. Then like on the touristy side of things, like the Biltmore House is pretty cool to visit.
Mhm.
Just checking out a gigantic house is always fun. And then there's a free spot. I actually ran sound there, the Carl Sandburg Memorial House. He was like a author.
Mhm.
And it was like his childhood house, and it's got like a goat farm, and it's just like a really pretty area. It's very like Western North Carolina. So if you wanted to go from like the flatlands to the mountains and really check out like the nature around the mountains, you go there. It'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds really cool. And like, because Asheville, I understand is very like kind of mountainous out
Mhm.
there area. Is there like does music ever kind of like spill out into the like surroundings? Is there ever like a wood like bonfire type of show?
There's a pretty solid house show scene in Nashville.
Mhm.
I know I've actually I've been to and I've worked a few shows too at like this kind of commune place, like 20 minutes outside of town, called the Fallout Art Center. That's been pretty cool because it's like out kind of in the wilderness.
Mhm.
It's actually in the it used to be a school, the area, and the school burnt down, and they have
Oh,
like a stage in the burnt out basement of the school. It almost looks like an old like an ancient amphitheater kind of place, just
whoa.
like the ruins of a burnt out school. It's pretty sick.
That's crazy. Yeah, I definitely want to check out some of the more like I guess underground haunts. So that is
Mhm.
pretty underground. So yeah, that's that's definitely worth.
Yeah, there's a really nice connected house show scene too. I feel like that's some of the strongest parts of the Asheville scene are just like really fun, just like college house shows.
Sure. 'Cause, yeah, that's where a lot of the I guess the new kind of stuff kind of like bubbles up from. Like
Yeah, those are where like the punk bands that I really enjoy come out of too. Because there's like a couple of punk scenes. It's like dudes like in their like 30s or something that are doing like the Bad Religion stuff, which is fine. You know, it's just not really my thing. And then
yeah,
there's just like people in college and stuff doing like weird punk bands and stuff like that at house shows. And just like house shows are just a fun energy.
yeah. Um, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? I think we had a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, we hit a lot of stuff. Not really, not anything I can think yet.
Nice, nice. Do you want to let people know where to find your music or like social media or anything like that?
Yeah, it'd be like so we're Tongues of Fire. You can find us on Spotify. We have a YouTube channel. We just keep up with the Instagram. Mostly, we like to S post. I don't know if I can say bad words on the internet. We post stupid memes and stuff, and just like it's the best place to keep up with what we're actually doing.
Nice. Is that just like at like Tongues of Fire?
Yeah, it's just Tongues of Fire on Instagram. It should come up pretty easy.
Nice.
That's the easiest way to find us. If you look up Tongues of Fire on YouTube, you get a ton of religious stuff. Unfortunately,
Hmm. Gotcha.
it's hard
Yeah.
to
Well,
compete with Jesus in the algorithm.
yeah. There's a lot of money in that for sure.
I don't know. No money in punk.
No, no. Well, yeah. Thank you so much for talking with me. This was a good time.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll do a quick outro real quick and then we'll be good to go. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and you can check out all the interviews I and everyone here does at WKNC.org/podcast and click on Off the Record. I'm DJ Plover, and I've been here with Lowell from Tongues of Fire on WKNC 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh.